welcome back to Need for Speed, where we drive the cars and I tell you obscure facts about the cars we're driving. We're about to say goodbye to the beautiful Miata, and we are going to go with a Peugeot 206 GTI. We can see it from there in the little corner. It says GTI, and we're going to drive this today. We're going to give this puppy a ride, and let's trade the car in, and we got to modify a few things. And look at this absolute beauty. I chose to go with the metallic gray from the early 2000s, extremely iconic, some green accents, and I think it ties the whole design beautifully. So let's start with level 1 knowledge, beginner. For drift, we're going to go in easy mode. It's the only thing I really give myself easy mode on. Everything else is done in hard mode, even when it seems impossible. But yeah, so where cars like the Honda Civic were like the SI was like the top of the lineup for its style, the GTI really represents the early to higher level, the very first level up. I mean, this car had an insane number of models. It started out with the most basic 1.1 liter engine, then it had like a 1.4 and 1.6 liter options, and the GTI is a 2.0 liter engine, and I believe it's only surpassed by the RC version, which was the actual competition model. Oh my god, we are actually struggling a little bit, even on easy mode. I did not expect us to really struggle on drifting, but it's not necessarily a car that I would bring for drifting, despite for its long history of rallying. Oh no, we blew it. We blew that part. Alright, we got a couple laps to really make it work, and if we get the stuff in the white lines, we kind of get more points for our drifts, and all of a sudden we're back in first place. Great. Let me just nail the corner. Alright, it was fine. It was just fine. Alright, so what do we have to say about this model? So this one specifically in the video game is from 2003, but the generation of the 206 run from 1998 all the way, I believe, to 2012. So about 14 years of history. And those 14 years are pretty rich. This became an icon. It became the best-selling Peugeot of all time, with millions of models sold. We're going to go a little bit more on that later. But this is an icon for hot hatches. Holy shit, I hit the little thingy. Alright, never mind. This car has 136 horsepower, and at 6,000 RPM. The lower models, so the 1.1 liter has, I believe, 60 horsepower, so fairly weak. But the RC version actually is boosted to 177, I believe. It has 190 Newton meters of torque, which is about 140 pounds of foot-per torque, so pretty decent. It has a 5-speed manual transmission. There was no automatic option for the GTI. It goes from 0 to 60. We got money. We got cover in the magazine. We have drift tracks. All right, let's see your picture in the magazine. It went from 0 to 60 in about 8.1 seconds, so not bad. Let's see the magazine. Oh, look at this beauty. It's looking nice. I'm liking it. I'm loving it. And we're 10th in the rankings as well for drift now. Look at us. All right. Let's do a time trial. A little bit challenging, but we're up for it. We're going to go hard. TJ is going to give us a unique upgrade, so that's awesome. Always, I'm going to choose speed, I think, always. But yeah, and the speed tops up 130 miles per hour or 210 kilometers per hour. Oh no, I was looking at my shit, my bad. The speed tops up of 130 miles per hour, which is 210 kilometers per hour. So what is the actual size of this car? Well, the size is, there's going to be interesting aspects to the size that we're going to get later on, but just overall, the car is 1.43 meters tall. Hold on, it's a little bit hard to read because this is like one information where I don't necessarily memorize it. It's 3.8 meters long and 1.67 meters wide, so about 5.5 feet wide. It's so hard to read and do a time trial at the same damn time. It was much easier with the drift. I think it's 14 I'm just guessing here. Okay, 12 and a half feet long and 4.7 feet tall. So it's a little bit shorter than the average car we've seen so far. Also, this weighed about 1,000 kilograms, about 2,300 pounds, which makes it lighter than the Volkswagen Golf and even the Honda Civic Si that we saw earlier. Probably the best rated car we have so far. I don't remember actually. But I love this Peugeot. Oh no, I'm about to love it less if... Yep. You know what? Maybe we can still make it. We can still make it because we have... No, I thought that was a NOS. I thought that was our boost. Let's see if we can still do it. We have about a minute to make it. Let's just lock in. So, what does this car offer? It has a front wheel drive. And it has a relatively short wheelbase. I did not think. I was looking at the map and I did not expect that turn. So this car basically doesn't really have, I believe, long high top speeds where it can push, but it's supposed to be quite punchy, quite agile, going left to right, that kind of stuff. Decent off a start. That's what Google tells me. I never driven this car. Actually, no, I never driven it. Maybe I did. I'm trying to remember, but I don't remember. So pretty good. I mean, it does quite well for the frame. It's a fairly small car, so it handles well. Let's see. I mean, in the game itself, it's handling quite decently. I think it's just me not being able to focus 100% of my attention on the whole thing. But let's see if we can just do a little bit better. We were 15 seconds short. You might think it's impossible to gain 15 seconds, but we're going to. We're absolutely going to. We even got vinyls. That's cool. We're gonna get stripes on the next car, which I haven't decided yet, but we're gonna have some interesting options because this is the last one of those like very first generation cars that were available from the start. So that would be kind of fun. Let's see if we go on this side. We have perhaps an easier time turning. That could be a thing. So let's see. We gotta make 15 seconds, which honestly, not that hard to make if we're just considering the fact that we're supposed to avoid hitting stuff. You know what? I'm gonna be honest with this one. This was not the run. It wasn't it. So you know what? We have some time. Why don't we go intermediate knowledge? So when it comes to handling and stopping, the GTI specifically is a bit better than the base model. So I believe the base model comes with what are they called? It comes with drum brakes, and for the GTI version, they actually use vented disc brakes, which makes sure that basically you don't lose a stopping power whenever you. It makes it less likely for you to lose stopping power from brakes overheating. Also, on the front, it has a McPherson strut suspension, which is the basic standard economy thing. It's reliable. It does its job quite well. On the back, it's a little bit more bumpy. I believe it just has a torsion beam, so not the greatest really. But as I understand it, part of the history is that Lotus helped design the suspensions, especially for the GTI model, or maybe it was only the RC version. But the whole idea is that they helped, and some of the more performance versions are a little bit better off thanks to the Lotus's help. What else is there to say? Okay, the wheels. The wheels are about 15 or 16 inches. I mean, you basically have the option. And the 15s give a little bit more cushioning, but the 16s are more responsive, and they have, but they give you a little bit of a bumpier ride. So you kind of have to choose your poison, but overall, decent car. I think it leans a little bit more on the responsiveness more than on the comfort, given the suspensions, but I think it's still pretty decent. What else do we have? Well, we have 28 seconds to get to the end, so why don't I just like focus on racing instead of bottling it? Let's see. I think we have the capacity to get there, but I might use my NOS at the very end, but I don't want to like use my NOS and just NOS into a wall. So I'm kind of just... Also, I somewhat forgot which was the NOS button. I was a little bit anxious to click it, but we made it with 3 seconds to spare. We fucking did it. Amazing. Okay, okay. We have quite a few races to get through today. I believe we're going to do a tournament at the end. Oh, there's actually upgrade stuff. Let's get those right away. Oh, okay, never mind. Maybe this was the upgrade, but let me see. He's going to give us brake kits, which are going to make our handling a little bit better, or drivetrain, which is going to make the handling a little bit better, or tires, which is going to make handling a little bit better, or turbo package, which is going to make our acceleration slightly better, or ECU and fuel system, which is going to make acceleration a little bit more better. So it's either tires for handling, because these drivetrain and tires seem to give a similar boost in handling. And acceleration, definitely not the turbo package, but the fuel system seems to be the best one. So I guess we're going to go with this one since it has the most advantage. And I believe we unlocked some performance upgrades. Let me check here. Not in the tier 1 stuff, yeah. What about the ECU? Nothing here. Nothing here. And here we have everything already. No, it was just referring to that stuff. So that bonus from TJ. So now we have the option for another easy sprint, which we're going to start on easy mode. And we're going to work on those 2 races later. Then after those 3 races, I believe we have a tournament, and that's the last thing we're going to try today. So one interesting thing about this car that I learned was that essentially it has a front wheel drivetrain, front wheel drive, but where normally these cars are known to understeer, the GTI specifically, apparently it's quite aggressive where it's in a corner. If you lift your pedal off the throttle, you're essentially like the weight jumps forward, as I understand it, as it was described, and it gives you like, it kind of kicks out the back. Basically, it gives you oversteer in cars that are supposed to generally have understeer, which to me was quite surprising. I didn't really expect that. But yeah, it was a little bit fun bit of knowledge that I learned while researching this car. And it was like an interesting distinction they made for the GTI specifically. But with that in mind, why don't we move a little bit forward to Tier 4, Advanced Knowledge. I think this victory is all by decided at this point. So let's talk a little bit about the stats, the sales. The 206, this generation, 14 years, is the most sold Peugeot model of all time. The Peugeot 206 sold 8.3 million cars. I believe there's a clip of Jeremy Clarkson at some point that said that there was, on average, at its peak, one of these cars sold every 45 seconds. That was insane. This car, the popularity of this car cannot be explained. This car was everywhere in Europe. Unfortunately, it rarely made its way into the United States, mostly through exports, but it was never really sold here, so it wasn't exactly available. But yeah. So of all those models that were sold throughout the years, the price, we're gonna pretend that the euro-dollar exchange rate is about $1 throughout this like decade plus time. But it was about 11,000 euros for the very first few years for the base models, the 1.1 liter engine stuff. It was about 11,000 euros. The GTI was around 18,000, and the RC was around $21,500. So the price started fairly low. Okay, we got the vinyl, we got money, and we got muffler tips, which is a visual upgrade, but nothing else. So we're gonna keep it in mind for future stuff. So this car is actually very affordable despite its long lifespan. Like, you might think the price went up insanely over that decade just due to inflation, but it's actually not the case. So back in the 90s, so the 98 to 99 era, Oh, I forgot exactly which one's the button that lets us shift up. I think it's the right bumper, but we might have a shitty start. I think it's a right trigger, actually. I think it was. I think it was. But this is going to definitely take a little bit of a retry unless these idiots crash terribly, which they haven't. So, alright, fair enough. They have actually. Somehow we are doing it. Well, perhaps. It's not sure yet. But we might just pull it off. We got totaled as well. Alright, never mind. This is going to be a challenging one just from the sheer traffic available. But, alright, throughout the 90s, when there was only the very base model, again, those were the MSRP. No, not continue. When those were the MSRP prices, that was it. So, in the 2000-2006 era, it seems to be the main time when prices went up because they introduced the 1.4 liter model. 1.4, 1.6 liter model, which went for 14K or 15K. Oh, I have no chance. There was no way for me to go anywhere and avoid a car. I could not go left. I tried to go right. It didn't really react in time, but it was going to knock us anyway. This is tough, actually. Huh. All right, game. Let me restart. It was not letting me restart. It was not accepting it. So it did go up a little bit in that 2000-2006 era. Alright, we can do it now. We can absolutely do this. Let's get some drift from the car behind us, like a slipstream. We might be able to. I mean, we have power. Oh my god. Somehow, he took the hit for us. Let's see if we can survive this guy. Alright, I see that truck, the El Camino. We're avoiding. Oh my god, why did he slow down? This race is impossible to win on speed alone. You gotta beat the traffic. Oh my god, this is so hard. How are we gonna finish the game if this is the level of competition we're facing? Alright, we got a perfect shift going. No, I accidentally shifted wrong. But we can still get it if he hits a car. If he hits a car, we can do it. No, we're gonna draft this car. We're not drafting anything. We are just gonna end in 4th place. No fucking way. Ooh, okay, all right. 32 seconds. We're gonna have to do much better than that. Yep, we're gonna restart. So here's the thing. The price went up because they introduced those 2 other models. But in 2009-ish, I believe, is when they introduced the 207, which was the next generation. So what did they do with the 206? Well, they stripped it down, and they made. Oh my god, that was close. They stripped it down and they made a 206 Plus, which was basically a stripped down 207. But basically, it still allowed them to sell a very cheap car. It was sold for right under 10,000 euros, about 9,900. Yeah, 9,900 euros, and it's pretty crazy the fact that this car was actually relatively affordable throughout its whole lifetime. And then, since so many were sold, it's quite easy to find some of these 206s for fairly cheap. I mean, the base models, like those 1.1 liters, they go for super cheap. Let me get shift, and now we have another perfect shift. And all right, I think this is the run if we can make it work. Why did these stop? Oh my god, that was so dangerous for us. But let's get in the middle. It's going to give us the most options to go left or right. Okay, we didn't need to turn. We didn't need to go. We're almost there. Have we made it? I think this is it. I think it's a real one. All right. So these cars being potentially 30 years old doesn't really help their survival. But there are some available still to this day. We got window tints. Let's fucking go. You can find one of these base models, the 1.1 liter stuff, for about even up to the 1.6 liter. From one, we're gonna go hard mode. Yep. From about 1,000 if they run, maybe even less, all the way to 3,000. Um, 3,500 if they're in good condition. I saw some around that price point, and maybe if they're a little bit better, you can see it maybe in the 4 5K range, maybe, but not always really. It's not always the case. If we're looking at GTI version, which is the one we're driving, the price is a little bit higher, but nothing absurd, I'd say. I mean, yes, the price starts to go from like 1.5 thousand to 3.5, give or take. This is a new area for us where we're racing. Huh. No, wait, we've seen this one. We've seen this. We've seen this thing. So the price goes a little bit higher. Maybe it can cap off at 5K, but if you have a really good one, maybe it might be like 6,000, but like really it doesn't go much higher than there. The one that really held its value quite decently, it's the RC version. I mean, you can find some that barely run all the way to like heavily used for about, hold on, I have the number next to me, I'm having a hard time seeing it, from 5 to 10K, beat up, barely running, heavily used, heavily loved, and if they're in good condition, they have even gone up to 18,000 from in the teens all the way to something like 18,000 if it's extremely well maintained. So the car can almost sell for what it was purchased if it's like in good condition. But that's only the RC. Even the GTI did not receive that kind of like price. The price did deflate a fair bit as well. So yeah, pretty good run. We kind of caught up to first place again. I would rather to not lose it. All right. And I think that covers everything for advanced knowledge. Next up, we're going to have elite knowledge, but only if we can find a way to beat this car. Okay, we can do this. We're ahead, right? By a couple seconds, actually. What did happen to him? But we did it. Oh my god, sorry. We have tons of elite knowledge, really. So, first of all, in elite knowledge, I'm going to explain to you. We're in a magazine. I want to see that one. We're 9th in sprint race. Let's fucking go. Let me see. Let me see my beautiful cover. At the end of the series, we're going to look at all the cars that made it into a cover. Look at that beauty. Look at that fucking gorgeous car. Let's not save it. I'm going to save at the very end on my own. But here we have a tournament. 2 laps, probably 4 races, I guess. 3 or 4 races. And yeah, we're going to have to do it, but we have elite knowledge. So the 206 basically tells us a lot about the car itself, the number. So apparently the history is that the middle number has to be a 0. That's the tradition. Don't really understand it, but that's the thing. The number in front tells us what the car is. For example, if it was a 106, that means it's a very small compact car. The 206 is like a subcompact car. And the 306, it starts to get into like apparently like a family crossover, I believe. That's what it was described as. Basically, it's like slightly bigger. So here we are in the 206 in the slightly above compact car. The 6 tells us the generation. So before the 206, there was a 205, which ran from the 80s all the way from 1990 something. After the 206, okay, after the 205 there was a 206, after the 206 there was a 207, and after that you might think there's going to be a 208, 209, 210. Well, I told you earlier that the 0 has to remain in the middle. That's the tradition, right? And so that's what the company did. They did a 208, but then they decided to not go with a 209 and break the tradition eventually with a 210. They start to do the 208 Gen 2. So that's an interesting change in naming scheme. I guess the next one after that is it's gonna be a 208 Gen 3, Gen 4, Gen 5. I guess that's gonna be their new way to name the car. But yeah, that's their thing. And yeah, pretty cool how much you can tell from a car based on its number. Just, I don't know. I thought it's like a fairly consistent naming scheme. At least. Oh my god, no, don't do this to me. We gotta get back in track. Let's go. Oh, we only have a couple laps left, so let's at least not lose second place, which is gonna be hard because the car behind us probably has a lot of built-up speed. But built-up speed means it might be crashing into walls, and maybe we can do better in that. Yeah, I think we're going to be able to hold on to second place for this, which is all I needed, really. Just give me a chance, coach. So yeah, that's the idea. That's a cool naming scheme behind this thing. Let's go into the next race. Let's go. So there's a commercial about this car where somebody in India takes an old car. He takes this old looking car, kind of beats it up. He drives it into walls back and forth. He has like a elephant sitting in it. So eventually the idea is that he sculpted his car so hard that eventually he built it into a 206. Well, he didn't exactly do that, but in a way it's a little bit real because the 206 that they show at the very end was a real 206. It was just not a real car that was sculpted into a 206. It was a 206 that was heavily beat up to make it look like it was sculpted into it from a different car. So a little bit of a history from the commercial, I guess. It was kind of unique, I suppose. And if anybody's ever seen the commercial, I think you can look it up on YouTube, 206 sculpting commercial, something like that, and it should show up, I think. I was able to look at it a little bit ago, but yeah, that's the thing. Oh no, I really thought we could switch lanes without too many issues there, and I fucked it. I fucked it so bad. Let's see if we can get it back. The car's appearance. The cars, you might notice these headlights look quite aggressive for the car. Oh my god, there's a shortcut that those two assholes took. I had no idea. We're gonna try taking it maybe next time, I guess. Well, you know what? It's not looking like they've really got a ton of speed in that shortcut, really, which is disappointing. Are we in first? How? Their shortcut was so ass, I guess. It was terrible, I suppose, because damn, they didn't make any speed at all. Oh my god, that was full trust on me on turning this. So one fact I absolutely love is that in 2006, the Peugeot GTI was trying to enter the World Rally Championship, and the FIA, which controls the racing, has a strict rule that apparently every car had to be over 4 meters long. And this car, as we said earlier, it's only 3.83 meters long. So what did they do? They made a very short production of the GT model, which is identical to the GTI model, except it has a much longer bumper, front and back bumper, which brings the length of the car to 4 meters and 5 millimeters in length. The insanity. The insanity is just incredible. Like the fact that they went to the dot 5 millimeters over just to be safe. It's a level of dedication. And this car won championships, I believe, while rallying. It was, I believe, one of the most successful rally cars of all time. Maybe not the most successful, but it's extremely popular, a great option. It's a do-it-all kind of car. It kind of like, you know, it had a station wagon model. It had the performance models. It had the low power, small and agile models. Like, it had everything. So it's a really iconic car. Even this silver I chose for the vehicle today. This was apparently this metallic look was pioneered by the Peugeot 206 back in the day, and it became a sensation all over Europe. I can tell you from personal knowledge on this one. I'll tell you that I believe my uncle had this exact kind of car. He probably had he didn't have the GTI version. He had probably the 1.1 liter version, if we're being honest. But yeah, that's why this car is very near and dear to my heart. It's been in my life before. So yeah. Okay, we were able to kind of like derail the other car without actually destroying my own race, which is kind of rare. So yeah. Then this car has this was a little bit interesting, but apparently like when there's some cars like to do different stuff based on whether it's gonna go in a left-hand driving market or right-hand driving market, basically the UK versus Europe. But apparently they just chose to go with asymmetrical stuff, and the headlights, we cannot see it in the back, but apparently that's supposed to, oh my god, please. Okay, somehow, you know what, we captured a lot of speed back, and hopefully we're not going to lose too much. We're in second place, and I don't think that car is really good at handling. Like, this Peugeot has been one of the best handling cars in the whole series for me. It's been handling very well. I've enjoyed it. I'm very biased, I have to admit. But anyway, alright. The truth is that this is not just my uncle's car. This was one of the first cars that my parents had. It's the first one that I remember being alive for them purchasing. So this is why this car is just so near and dear to my heart. It was blue, mine, but yeah, that's why I'm biased, completely biased. I will get this car. We have some performance upgrades, but I think we're done. Continue. We won the tournament. This car is getting an A for me. This car has it all. It has the high performance. It has the low performance. It was cheap all throughout. The 2.4 liter inline 4 engine, it's good. It's good. The GTI, I mean, it won World Rally Championships. Like, what more could I ask about this car? It has an iconic look. The best-selling car in Peugeot's history. Like, it just does it all. To me, this car deserves a nod. Not the GTI specifically, maybe, but the bigger thing that the Peugeot represents. With that being said, there's a lot of cars that we're gonna have to try next time, and I believe they're cars that were not available from the beginning of the game, so they might have more performance. I don't believe we've done the Ford Focus, for example. We might have done the Impreza. Let me look at it. I might recognize it. I think we've done the Impreza. Maybe not. I'm going to have to double check my notes. We might have done the Mitsubishi Lancer. Hyundai Tiburon. One new car. Nissan Sentra SC. The R-Spec. Like, it's the R-Spec V. Like, these are all cars that we're going to have to try eventually. This looks a lot more aged in this gray. Oh my god. We're not going to go gray with this car. But yeah, there's a lot of exciting cars that we have unlocked. We're going to get to see them in the next race, but I hope you agree with my rating. I mean, it probably deserved to be in the B+ range, and I unashamedly bump it into the A range, but what can I say? It has a sweet spot in my heart. I cannot trade it for it, give it any other kind of grade. It just belongs there. In the meantime, hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.